This, when we found out about Miss Green, as a matter of fact, you mind if I call you Miss Dolly? Okay. When we found out about Miss Dolly, it was almost in, oh wow, oh yeah. But when we met her, it was like, oh my gosh, this is an experience. It was more than just, we're gonna sit down and talk to you. So, Ms. Dolly, tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up in Richmond Hill. It was Way Station then.
Way Station.
Okay.
Well, back then, the black people didn't have much.
Mhm.
And my father used to work for Hoover. And he used to work on the trash wagon. And the trash wagon back then was a good way of people with their children. Because the white people, whatever they couldn't use, they would give it to whoever is driving the trash wagon. And, and that would help them with their kids. So that was the support to my dad.
Mhm.
It wasn't nothing that they didn't want.
Right.
And it wasn't raggedy. It wasn't nasty. Everything was clean that they gave.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a good support for him.
Just like things
back then
that they didn't need anymore.
Exactly.
Right.
And then, food used to have the lettuce patch, the cabbage patch.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, they used to sow mustard greens, the big wide leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And wherever the wind blows the seed, the next year it'll get up. And that was the ways for people to use to feed themselves. They had a string bean.
It was Mr. Ford.
Right, you pick up for them. And then
oh. So, what was that? Whatever was left over, or were there certain days that you could go and?
Well, they used to pick a potato every day, pick beans every day.
Oh wow!
So it was a ways of living.
So that helped with the lack that was in the black community.
Because back then at home, they used to raise chicken, they used to raise hogs, they used to go and kill cows, they used to kill deer, as meat wise. And see, the chicken lay eggs, that was where we have it. So see, they turned over, keep turning over stuff.
Right.
It's not like now people just sit and don't do nothing. They work to feed their children.
And so when you said back then, what year time frame are we talking about?
I was born 1934. Okay, so and that was in that time frame when I was coming up.
Okay.
And when we got really big enough, there was a thing called rabbit tobacco. Rabbit? It was really dead time.
Oh, yes. So you like the hopping animal rabbit?
Yeah, it was like, but it was a plant. And we used to go in the wood and pick it. Yes, that was another way of means of me helping Daddy with us, with the schooling, with the eating, and help other people. Because back then, let me tell you, people used to help one another. If we got too much that we didn't use, we give it to somebody else.
Right.
And if there's too much that you the woman, you give it to somebody else.
And then people probably took only what they need.
And they took what they need.
Wow.
Yes.
So now this is something that I've never heard before, and I'm always interested in hearing more about things I've never heard before. So when you say rabbit tobacco, so I got caught up on that. When you say rabbit tobacco, what exactly was that?
That is a product that they use in tobacco.
Oh.
They give it that sweet smell.
Oh, okay. See, You learn something new every day. I had no idea. I just thought it was tobacco in tobacco. Oh, okay. See, thank you for that.
Yes.
I'm gonna find some way to share that with somebody. At some point in time, I don't know where, but I'm gonna find a way.
Yeah, like I said, people back then keep turning, they don't sit on one thing, they move from one thing to the other. Because you have to make a living for the children. My mom had 11 children.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where were you within that?
7.
You almost like right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. So did that mean that you helped around the house? Somebody that is like my kindred spirit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to iron all the time,
time.
and now cooking is just a fun hobby. So,
Yes.
but I'm pretty sure that you're really good at it.
I used to iron out.
Oh, yeah. So what's your favorite thing to cook? Your favorite meal or?
Is my chicken pot pie.
Oh, what makes that so special?
Oh, could you make it from scratch? Everything from scratch.
Okay. See, and the way you're talking about that is like, already I want to taste it. When you said from scratch, I'm like,
Scratch.
oh,
Even the dough is from scratch.
oh wow.
I don't use nobody but crust.
See, now that's a real cook.
Nobody.
That's a real cook. Did you learn that from your mother or is it
Mom.
just? Oh, okay. So that's one of those things that was handed down and passed down. Was all those different things that make it important. The things that you can take to the next level. Yes, yes. So, did you pass it down to your children?
Yes, but my children don't learn too much. They bring it to mom.
Because they know it's gonna get done right. How many children do you have?
I had 2, but my baby child, she died.
Oh, okay.
And she had 4 children. And the baby was 8 years old when she died.
Oh, no, sorry.
So I raised all 4 of them. They grown now and got their own kids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had.
I think I got 6. Because I got more great grand than I have.
How many great grands?
I think I got 7.
Oh, wow.
And I got 3 great grands.
Wow. So you have been able to experience multiple generations. That is so amazing and so wonderful. That's something that a lot of times we don't get a chance to experience with the disconnected families and the disjointed families and the dysfunctional families and all the other disses.
Still my family too. That's one of them is right over there.
And that's what we're really going to talk about is how you got into driving a bus and all that's about.
Well, the car restaurant came one day and said they had needed ambulance driver. I said, you got the wrong person. 'Cause I can't stand to see blood and drive. So then he came back about 2 weeks later and he said, well, I've got the bus driver. I said, ooh, Lord have mercy. He said, Miss Dolly, you can do it. He said, I know you can do it. I said, no, Lord, how you know I could do it? I know you could do it. So then I went down to the school and they gave me a bus, stick shift, and there were dirt roads with holes.
Oh, wow.
I walked down twice.
Wow.
But I got out.
How did you manage to get out? By yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, gee.
You just know how to shift them gears and get out there.
So had you been driving?
No, I wasn't.
But you were,
Just drive the car to take mom if she wanna go and come back home.
and that was it.
That was it.
And all of a sudden you
And all
have
of a sudden here you got a big, long 32 passenger bus.
32 passengers. Mm. That says a lot about you as a person. So a lot of your
My first time. You have to help me do this.
is that something that you got from your parents, or is that just?
From my mom.
And can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah. Mama was a person. She said, honey, if you got something to do, don't be afraid of it. Just ask God to help you to do it. And you help me. But if you're gonna be afraid of going into it, don't do it. Just leave it alone.
Yeah, that's some great advice. And that's advice that we can take with us now and pass on to.
Don't be afraid of what you're going in. Just ask the Lord to help you through it. Yeah.
Oh, that's
And you will.
amazing. Definitely amazing.
Yes.
So what was your first day driving the bus when you picked up children? What was that like?
Oh, the children had so much noise. The first day I drove them, I went, take them to school, take them back home, I didn't say nothing. The next day, I said, you all will not act like this. I just pulled the bus off on the side of the road, shut the ignition on, and put the key in my pocket, and I stood up, and we had a little chat. And I said, now, if you meet me halfway, I'll meet you halfway. I said, now, we can do this thing together, or I can do it by myself. And I said, I don't think you like it the way I do it. Some of them obeyed. I had a couple didn't. Yes. Those two didn't. That afternoon, when I put that little boy off that bus, he had to cut up and had me mad anyway. And he got in the front of the bus, pulled his little pants and underwear down, and moaned me. Now, y'all, I see blood red. He did. But he didn't get the satisfaction. His dad tear his can up and brought him to the bus and told me the next morning and had him to beg me for it. He didn't know who he was messing with or who he was mooning at that time. At that time. But he never did it again. He was my best shot. Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. And you keep pointing over to one of the audience members here. He wasn't a bad boy. I had three of them. They wasn't bad. They just was mischievous. Okay. And I just have to stop the bus, mash on brakes, and they know what that means. Exactly. But one day he got bad and I had to turn him in. And he said his daddy let him out. I said, I'm sorry, I didn't know it. But we got along good after that. I had 4 boys, white boys. They were my children. And he's my child today. Wow. That's I don't care where they see me, they got manners to him and stuff. That says a lot because sometimes we let children get away with things that they shouldn't get away with. And they have no respect. Exactly. But when you reel them in and teach them the right way, that's where the respect comes from. Because I tell them, I'm not turning you in because I hate you. I'm doing this for your good. I love you. That's why I'm doing this for you. Yeah. Yeah.
And that makes all the difference in the world.
It is, it is.
What was your favorite thing about driving trucks?
Oh, I just love children. Yes. I just love children. I took her two girls to school. And her, and my daughter. I took them all. I took 3 generations to school.
Oh, wow. So when you started, was the schools integrated then, or were they?
No,
They were,
no, it wasn't.
they were segregated then?
I drove it 2 years way back in the grade.
Okay, and you only drove for which group did you do? Both group, okay.
Yeah.
So you
You
had,
have to drive, drop, conquer off, and go and drop.
oh, okay. So that was like,
All the journey.
I can imagine. Yeah. And so they had the schedule staggered and everything, so you can get that down. Oh. So, and Carver was, were both of the sets of schools, K through 12, or was it, or were they different?
Carver was K through 12 for a while, but the end of it, it was kindergarten through 8th.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And so where did the 9th through 12th go? Was that when they integrated?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, and so what was the,
Closed in the morning and closed in the afternoon.
okay. Well, that was, so they could, was it because of the proximity of where the students live that you had to do 2 separate trips?
It's with so many children.
Oh, okay.
See, people kept moving into Richmond Hill until they're doing it just today.
Right.
They kept moving in because of the school.
Yeah. Okay. So that was, amazing.
It is.
That is truly amazing. Did you ever look at the children and say, I know your mother or your father and they didn't act like you?
All the time, honey. Yes.
So,
If they act up on the bus, I said, I'm going to tell your mom. Excuse me, Dolly, I said, I'm going to tell your mom. They gave me enough, I don't tell them. But I could talk to them and do more with them that way than taking them and pushing them into the principal.
yeah.
Because when you push them into the principal, you ain't doing nothing but make them mad with you and mad at the principal.
Exactly.
So if you sit down and talk with them, you do more.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that. But there is,
They don't do it, they want to keep them, push them into the office.
but there's another way to handle things than
Yeah.
always by moving it off to somebody else.
Exactly.
To handle. Most children need things done on the spot.
Right.
It means more to them and it makes more of a difference.
Yeah. And see, when you work with kids, when they bring in their little ones, kindergarten, they coming in crying, some coming hollering. You gonna have to talk to that little one and come close to you in order for that little one to get a little quiet.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to calm that child down.
Absolutely.
Because she can't get on the bus with you. The parent.
And people have no idea about that.
They got no idea. But you go through the children on the school bus.
Those first graders. You have to start from scratch with them.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
And then, does it take them long to acclimate to, um, get used to what the expectations are on the bus and, or do you have those that would just stick right up under you for the duration?
No, once I talk to them and get them calmed down,
Mhm,
I could sit them in a seat
mhm. And they were, and
and
they
they'll
were,
be okay. I'm not saying just to say that for me, but I just gotta be with children.
yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
It sounds like you understand
Mhm.
what their needs are.
Right. And another thing, the first school year, second school year on down the line, the first day of school, you're gonna have to take time out, talk to those kids and tell them what you expect. Not that the school and all that tell them what to do. What you expect because you are the mama, the daddy, and everything else you do, they are your children. Until you get them back to their destination. See, some don't understand that. After they are your children, you're responsible for them. So you're gonna have to talk to them. Yeah. They're another one of my children.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they're all coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so wonderful.
Yeah.
Definitely so wonderful.
But school bus is not bad. It's not a bad job. It's just what you need to do.
Oh, good, good. Now, here's my other question for you. How were you received when you first started driving the bus?
Good. You see, all of the black children had already knew me. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, were they surprised to see you?
Oh, they want to say, yes, Miss Donna. Yeah. People loving children.
Oh, that's, and that makes the job worthwhile.
It makes it worthwhile.
Yeah.
If you just meet them halfway, you don't get all legally, don't get them in. You have to do them some.
Right. Oh, that is so important.
Yeah.
And, and that, being in the classroom the way I am, all the things that you're saying, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
That is great information that you can take to the classroom and
Yeah.
everywhere. And sometimes just with dealing with children in general, it's important that they're able to know that somebody's there for them, that it's gonna make a difference. Yes, yes. So, what is, how did your children feel when you were driving the bus?
They was in the same category as Robert. They weren't my children on the bus. They are children going to school. They got treated just like the other children.
Oh, wow.
No special.
Were they okay with that?
Oh, yes, ma'am. They had no choice.
Excuse me, 1 minute.
They didn't have no choice.
Okay. So, but they knew that, they had to toe the line, right?
They,
Did I hear a from the, from that? Nice, that's
yes, it is, honey. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't take children. You can't make them special. Then
Right,
people have problems.
yeah.
They do that.
Is that the attitude that you have towards, everything that you do and where you're dealing with a lot of different people, everybody is the same, and you just connect with them at that point?
That's good.
Okay, why is that?
That's the way I was brought up. Mama said, one person is not no different from the other. You cut one and cut the other, both of them bleed. The only difference is the skin color.
Right. And
that's what prevents me along with.
yeah. So how did your husband feel when you started driving the bus?
Oh, he had like it. He had like it.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah, he had no problem with that. Was he surprised when you said, okay, I'll do it? He was surprised when I told him I was gonna drive the bus. Yeah. He said, you were the yes, I am.
Was that the first occupation that you had as an adult? Was that the first job you had as an adult?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
the first public job.
Wow.
Driving the bus.
Wow.
I used to do a lot of housework.
Mm-hmm.
Driving to school was my first public job.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was the first Black person to work on the voting pool.
On the what?
The voting pool.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Tell me a little bit about that.
And I was the first Black woman driving school bus.
So you are history yourself. You are. I'm sitting here talking to history, and everybody else is listening to history.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. This is see, and that's one of those amazing things.
Yes.
To be able to meet history as opposed to finding out about history. When they're like 9 or 10, 18 is old. so 67. So 67 years through all of these different changes and all of the wonderful experiences you've had. The clock keeps the 67 years rolling.
Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, you have to put him in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And a book.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
You cannot go back to what the old people used to say. You can't destroy this.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you say that one more time. Because I need everybody to hear that.
Catch at every drowning stroke one on the water. You have to let some of it slide by.
We're getting wisdom today. We are truly getting wisdom today. I am so thrilled to be able to sit here and I don't even feel like I'm interviewing you. I feel like I'm just learning from you. And it is such a wonderful feeling.
I'm gonna give you another little piece of Mary.
I'll take them all.
Whatever your husband can't do, don't you sit and look at him and say that if he ain't doing it, I ain't gonna do it. You better try to go and do it. Cause there's coming a time in your life you're gonna need that same thing.
Oh, okay. See, that's one of those, in other words, get out of your own way and get your ego.
That's put ego behind money.
Hey, you can't argue with
I mean, those are things that make man work.
Yeah. Oh my, I'm sitting here speechless, and that's not the position I should be in right now. But it's so important that sometimes this needs to sink in a little.
Sometimes he would go to work 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't know when he'd come home at night. Now I got 2 children I got to take care of. Now if I was gonna sit there and wait till he come home to cut a piece of wood to put in the stove for me to warm by or to cook food with, where would it be? I cut many a wood on my shoulder. I bring it out the wood, bring it to the house. Meaning, I go get grocery, I pay all of the bills. I don't sit there and wait on him. My mama always said, if he can't move, step across him and keep going. That's why he'll get up and he'll follow you. That don't mean because you step across him, you're going to leave him. No. We just want to keep it in the store.
Going in until he can. Wow. That's
So he got along good.
That's amazing. Yeah, that is true. I am just so excited, I guess you could say, about sitting here and talking to you and getting the wisdom. And I'm going to stop for a minute and see if there are any questions. Are there any questions in that? Oh, okay. Here's one. Your son, you have a son who plays music? You have a son who plays music? A grandson.
Oh, yeah.
A grandson who plays music. Yeah. So,
her son, they call him Hitman.
Hitman?
Hitman.
Oh,
Yes.
so
And he plays in Savannah. And he plays to the Juju Club right here and McPherson.
Okay. So, what does he play?
Blues.
Oh, he plays the blues.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Very good.
He loves blues.
Oh, Hitman.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
And his name Brett.
Brett. Okay, Brett Johnson.
Bonner.
Brett Bonner. Okay, we're gonna have to find out about him and check him out a little bit. Because
Yeah.
we've heard that he's very good.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so folks,
He did something he did on his own.
really,
He never went to school for
and that shows that there's a real passion for it.
it.
Yeah, you are going to make that effort on your own. That's something that is, yeah. Is it, what, as I back up here, I'm tripping over my thoughts here. What instrument?
A guitar.
Guitar. Oh, okay. Right. Well, that sounds really exciting. We're definitely gonna have to find out about where he's playing and check him out. Definitely. Do we have any other questions or anything from any of the audience? I have a question right here.
It's not really a question. So Miss Dolly drove me from kindergarten, so I was probably 6, to 8th grade. And it seems back then, everybody rode the bus. Now it seems like the parents don't want to put their little kid on the bus. But so my parents turned me over to you every morning for the first time in their life, and you are a hero to us. And so many people ask all the time, who is your favorite teacher? And which we always said Miss Dolly. And, so my parents today love Miss Dolly, and I've never seen a neighborhood get in a crowd and go to school. When they took Miss Dolly off of our route in Strathy Hall, her parents revolted to get her back on our route, and she was back on our route. Miss Meeks put her back like on that Monday. So that's how valuable she was. And you think about putting your child on a bus at 6 years old for the first time, a parent, you're nervous and scared, but my parents adore Miss Dolly. And I think my dad still goes and sees Miss Dolly. Yeah, at her house. And, yeah, she's one of my heroes, and we think of her often. We speak of her in my house and in my parents' house often. She don't know it, but we bring her up all the time. We love her, and we wish her well.
Thank you. That's the voice of one of those young men, that little boys that she was talking about so fondly a few minutes ago, Councilman Mr. Robbie Ward, and having those fond memories. And, that makes all the difference. When you have someone that you have made such an impact on their lives when you're small, that they still have a cherished place for you when they're an adult and they have their own children, their own family. That says a lot about the impact you make and how you connect with people. And it sounds like you didn't just connect with the children on the bus, but also their parents, and their loved ones outside of school. Yes, so that's very important. Any other thoughts or comments or questions?
She's being modest.
Okay, Ms.
I'm
Bowles,
gonna toot her horn.
go for it.
She was the youth partner at Ryan for years, for generations, with the children, with Easter pageants, Christmas
I'm gonna ask
things
you
of that.
just to speak just a little bit louder, if you can.
She was the head of the youth department at Ryan Baptist Church for years, and she was the head of the in Black churches. Anytime you have a big program, you have a big feast afterwards. That lady ran that kitchen. She ran it. And she ran that youth department.
Oh, wonderful. And why am I not surprised to hear that you ran the kitchen? So, yeah.
I have one more thing. Just so many memories. How she used to punish us on the bus. And I started when I was at 6 years old in 8th grade. That's a big difference. You grow into a person, and so we lived in Strathy Hall. And if you lived in Strathy Hall back then, you lived way out. I mean, I was way out. And Miss Dolly would punish you by, if you were bad on the bus, she would go by your stop. So she'd leave you on the bus to the end, and you want to get home, and that's how she would punish you. She'd leave you on, she'd go to the end of Mill Hill and then back. She'd just fly by your stop, and you're looking, and so that was one way of punishment. So,
And you knew then that you were in trouble.
yeah. But you also had, I'm not saying today, but back then you had respect for bus drivers, like you had respect for teachers, and I know my parents, my parents, they weren't timeout parents. We didn't get put in the corner. I mean, Miss Dolly called them on the phone, and it was punishment coming. So we had respect for our bus drivers, and I hope I've taught my kids that, and I've tried. So.
Would she talk to you on the way back after that last stop?
Miss Dolly was well known for pulling off the side of the road, turning the bus off, and just sitting there. There was no sound. So that was what she was famous for. And she would. One other thing, if you were, I remember this vividly. If you were sick or didn't feel good, you were going straight to that stop to let you off at that stop. Everybody else waited, and that could have been a 30-minute more ride, or she was going straight to your driveway. She, I don't know how it ended up, but our bus stop was very close to my house.
I'd like to add a comment about Miss Dolly. My husband and I love Miss Dolly. Our entire church loves Miss Dolly. We've only been here about 13 years, and we've known her since we've been here. Our church has fellowship together. To this day, Miss Dolly still makes me lima beans and black eyed peas. And she, I guess, the last of the Mohicans that still do that, can and all that stuff, and she sends it to me, and I eat it and I love it. That pie you were talking about, oh my God, I've had it. She is just sweet, and I keep her on my programs. Every time I do a program, she comes with these fascinating poems. I don't know where she get them from, but she's known for her poems, and we just love you. I know you know that. So she's awesome, awesome, and Deacon here, Deacon Lane, yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller, for that. And I wish you hadn't started talking about those pies and things.
Yeah.
That's, I'm a sweet tooth person,
Yeah,
so.
I know, yeah.
Got an internet question.
Okay, we have an internet.
Mrs. Carrie Daughtry has asked, what was the best part of her job? And do you have a story you can recall of such an occasion?
The best part, what was the best part of your job?
This is coming from Ms. Daughtry on the internet. What was the best part of your job? And do you have a story that you can share about that?
You know, on the bus driving around the car. Well, like I said, this part was taking my children to school safe and bringing them back home safe. Now, I used to cook cupcakes. Okay. And there wasn't supposed to be no eating on the bus. No drinking on the bus. And here the bus driver breaking the rule. I'll cook cupcakes for them. And I tell them, when you get through eating, put your trash in your mama trash can, not on the bus. Because you put it on the bus, you will sweep the bus tomorrow, and I mean that. They'll put it in their pocket and take it home. And drop it. But the ones supposed to be no eating on the bus, no drinking. But I allow them, like I'm saying, you have to give them a little edge with it, you know?
Yes.
To let them know I love you. And whatever I tell you, I'm not telling you a lie. I'm telling you the truth for your good, not mine. Like I tell them, I could sit here all day till y'all get quiet. I'll finish my work. You will have to do your work. So you can either be quiet, I'll sit back here till you do.
And they get quiet pretty quick, huh? Because if nothing else, they want to go home and turn on the
They
TV.
will not go home. I'll be telling them why they ain't come home.
That's
Yes, great. But I love driving the school bus and I love the children.
Do we have any more questions?
I have one question.
Okay.
Did you have a pet name for your husband? That you want to let us know.
You have to say Pee-wee. We call each other that. Pee-wee.
Pee-wee.
We call each other that.
You think every marriage for the long run, they need to make sure they have a pet name? Is that about?
That helps a lot. And make sure you tell her how much you love her. How much you enjoy whatever she does. If she do it wrong, honey, I enjoy it.
Uh-oh.
Keep her on the good side.
Does that go both ways or just one way?
Yeah,
Does that go-
both ways.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Both ways.
There goes my uh-oh.
Sure. I know she's not saying this, but I was good friends with Brett from K through 12, and I know she's got a lot of grandkids and kids, but Brett was her pride and joy. So she's not saying that. But, that was her pride and joy. And I know that because I was good friends for that.
Well, Miss Dolly, is there anything else that you would like to share before we end?
Not really. And just want to say to the young people, I know y'all think the world out there is great in your eyesight. Everything you see is on this fast train. But remember, God is still sitting on the throne. Look to him. Don't look to man. Look to God. Ask God for direction, instruction. Ask him for wisdom. Cut the fast life out because it ain't going to lead you to nothing but destruction.
Thank you. That was so true. So true. And very, like I said, we got so much wisdom coming through to us today. I mean, I don't even know I did not expect all this wisdom. Well, I should have expected all this wisdom. I got some the last time I talked to you. But it's just, you are such a wise person. You have so much wisdom and understanding. Okay, but before we end, I have something over here for you that I want to share with you. What I have here is a certificate of participation from the Falkcon group for participating, and Black people have always been here. And this we would like to present to you for our way of saying thank you, and we really appreciate you taking part in what we're doing to help get the history of the Black community out into the open and where other people can understand or know what has actually happened here. So thank you. We really appreciate that.
Sharon, can you hand that to her again? Can you hand it to her again?
Say that again?
Can you hand that to her again? Well, both of you guys hold it so we can see it funny. A little bit more towards the camera.
That way?
A little straight.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah. Hold your hand, you're up a little bit more. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're going to take just a short break, and we have Dr. Jamal Toure coming in. He's going to start talking to us about the Gullah Geechee community and the connection here, another important aspect of Richmond Hill's history from way back. I don't know where, but way back when. I can't even say how far back. In the meantime, we have Miss Tanya, I can't remember your last name, who will be helping you to enjoy some of the wonderful refreshments that has been supplied to us by our
Tell them
sponsor.
to stay tuned. We'll still be on live, but tell them to stay tuned. Just be a break. We'll come back. That's
Yes.
all on live.
People who are online, please stay tuned. We are not done yet. We are definitely not done yet. But I just want to invite those who are here to get some refreshments provided for us by Food Lion on 17 and Harris Trail Road. Mr. Rashawn Ware is the manager there and was gracious to partner with us and help us to do this. So just give us a few minutes, enjoy the music that you're hearing if you're online, and we will move forward from there. Thank you. And thank you. This was just amazing. It was wonderful.